Okay, I just call this meeting to order, 6:30. That was a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Mark, I don't know, I thought he was gonna be here.
Okay, maybe he'll show up.
Maybe the door. I heard the door, so yeah, maybe that's
And
him.
then Steve is online, I guess, and then I guess Eric will be online as well.
Hi, I was just asking about it.
Just me.
So Eric should be virtual and then Steve, of course.
If Eric, if somebody said, let Eric in, if he is.
Steve
is
Steve's parking.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah,
There's no,
Steve's virtual in there. Right, yeah, it should be.
if you have a piece of printed, so be able to get right in.
What's that?
And if he comes in the other way, I'll let him walk.
Okay, it's 3 to 1. Very good, thank you. But in any case,
I don't know if it's a new shirt, it's my first time wearing it.
but in any case, I think we have enough people for forum, if we need to make any motions, when we do. We need to make a motion to accept the minutes from June 2nd, 2026, which Jerry has sent out. I need a motion to.
So moved.
I need a second. Thank you, sweetie. Any comments, questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? No, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jerry. Since on this topic, I guess Jerry has sent out a memo from the police chief describing more detail in terms of what he needed for the police vehicle. I don't know if you guys all saw that. Oh, right, okay, thank you, thank you very much. And despite his last paragraph about, hoping to get approval, I don't think we need to approve anything for that. And so, is that correct? Yeah, so I think we've just acknowledged that we're good, and if you can just let the chief know that there's nothing.
He might be calling in.
We haven't done.
He's,
Made that yet.
call in, I don't know,
Okay.
he's not here yet, so.
Okay, because I wanted.
There was a little emergency, fire trucks. And
It's on vacation.
Oh, was it?
But if he.
Oh, okay, so that's
Let
gonna
know
come
that we have no issues.
Okay, I will let
Great,
you
thank
know.
you.
They're gonna be in the budget anyway for the year.
What did you have
so
first, about the Chiefs?
It will be, exactly.
Yeah, I want
Oh, yeah, kind of like the dog game. There was a question.
Yeah,
Are we jumping out of order?
I don't think so.
Just because I wanted to comment on this, but you didn't. Did
There
you?
was no other.
There's
we
no
didn't- we
public
didn't-
comment, no treasure report?
We didn't,
We haven't done that yet.
no, we haven't done any of that, but there was
Okay.
there was no agenda for that item that was sent out
For the chief.
for the chief.
Okay,
So I just inserted it here. I mean, we could put it anywhere, so.
Yeah, I just stuck it on the end.
I could put it.
Oh.
if it's okay with the chair, I'd like to ask a question, just in reviewing the off-budget accounts. I noticed there was this, and I wondered if, and I know it's from surplus, so it's not like we're digging around looking for money, but I wondered. There's this emergency dispatch 2832 that has $53,000 in it. And it is restricted. But what we're getting, I believe, fits within the restrictions of that. And I'm wondering why, if we have this money, like what, this is just money that's sitting, I'm assuming, over the years, accumulating.
You had a question about the birds.
Can I just get that?
Yeah, it's 2382, I'm sorry, 2832. It's the off-budget account list that you gave us at the last meeting.
Hold on. Getting close.
I think I know what that one is, but I want to just look for it.
Yeah, exclusively for providing emergency communication services.
Here, I have it, I think I finally got it.
Yeah.
That it, are those the all purpose
What's the number, 28?
2832, it's on the second page, about halfway down, emergency dispatch.
Okay, so we get grant money for that.
Yeah, and I just brought it up because I thought this seems to be, I mean, I looked at the legislation and all that.
Oh, okay.
And it appears to be, this would be a good match for that.
And what, I'm sorry, I had to step out for a
Oh,
moment.
for the police chief's request for the communications equipment, the new radios and
Oh,
what.
okay,
Yeah, I just thought,
okay, I can mention that too. But I mean, he does have the excess in the budget
now, so it will only go to surplus what he has in the budget, and so the thinking was, why not, get it while he can, so.
Which I completely
And
understand,
I
it's just,
just mentioned that to him too.
if this, I don't know how long it's been in there, if there, it's very limited, so it's like, when's the next time? Why
Right.
not use this money, and then the surplus is available back to the town for other things.
I will certainly.
Just a,
mention
yeah,
that.
just a thought, thank you.
But even in that case, because it's a named fund, he can just do it. He will
It's
not need,
already, you can just do it, yeah.
Right.
he will not need to,
Right.
right, so,
Yeah, it's like a back office thing, but I still want it, since
right,
I
absolutely.
happened to notice that, and then his letter came, I was like, this is almost a perfect match.
Yeah.
If
And I will make sure that he knows, that that's in the budget as well.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's catch. Yeah, this was not on the agenda, but I figured out, certainly, since we'll talk about the minute in terms of things that were handed out, so. Other comments? I can't tell.
There's no one from the public.
Who's the person above Steve?
That's us.
Oh, that's us, sorry, thank you. Okay. All right, treasury report.
You got it. Okay. All right, so we will start with our executive summary. So as of May 31, fiscal year to date, the town has received revenue of 54,867,838, or 103.8% of the total amount of 52,843,405 budgeted for fiscal year 26. When comparing our performance to last fiscal year, we are 0.9% behind this time last year. I'm just gonna comment on the little section of the mini golf. So during May, is this correct?
I just want to say one person.
$5.36. Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
It's a cold month.
$5.36 of mini golf fees were transferred to the Park and Rec Strategic Sinking Fund. Major transfer there. So fiscal year to date, the mini golf revenue totals are 219,771. And the current balance fund is 774,028. That's why it didn't shift very much last month.
That's obviously some sort of a.
I just skipped over that 536 when I looked at it myself at home. I was just like, oh, that's what it is. Very good. All right, next we'll move to the authorized investment section. So at the end of May, the town had $40.3 million in its bank accounts. And in the last month, the stiff rate has stayed steady at 3.77%. And today it's at 3.72. So the rates are really staying nice. And Webster, as you know, gives us the stiff rate in arrears, and their rate last month was 3.78. So, sorry, I have a runny nose, I apologize. So on May 31st, we had a bond come due. So we reinvested that, the investment committee, and we bought 2.339 million at 4.069% on June 1st. With a maturity date of January 1, 2028.
Ooh. Ding,
Yes.
ding, ding.
Ding, 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 so we bought an 18-month bond. So we basically purchased it for fiscal year 28, but we will receive revenue in fiscal year 27 of 12,281. So our total booked revenue so far for fiscal year 27 is $331,259. Then we now have booked revenue for fiscal year 28 of $149,068. So the bond total of revenue for this bond is $161,350. Any questions there?
That's the end.
Yeah. So yeah, we're thinking forward.
That's great.
Okay. So then we'll move down to the pension plan. So at the end of May, we received a report from Kevin, as some of you met, Morgan Stanley, the other day. So the town pension plan is up 10.45% fiscal year to date versus its benchmark of 18.11. Over the 3-year horizon, the town plan has returned 11.75 versus its benchmark of 16.40. Fire department pension plan is up 9.71 fiscal year to date and has returned 11.19 over the 3-year horizon versus its benchmark of 16.4. Any other questions there? Kevin will be in August to talk more about the benchmarks and things of that nature. And then we're gonna move to the revenues broken out in more detail. Okay, so page 2. The tax revenues in May were $71,895, or 101.5% of the amount budgeted for fiscal year 26. In terms of local revenues, the town collected $267,058 locally, or $470,642 in local revenues. And then from the state, we received an additional $33,061 from the state for our educational cost sharing grant. So we reported last month, but I don't know where that came from this month. Leanne,
Which thing?
the ECS,
Yeah, that was received in
May,
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Was that additional money that the
That was
governor was
additional.
giving every town?
yeah, yes.
Okay, so that's good.
Well, we thought we
It
were
was
getting
our
it.
33.
We thought we were gonna get about 130,
Oh, we did.
and we did, got 157 altogether.
Hello.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Sure.
Okay.
How are you?
You look worn out.
He's coming from Clinton.
We also received $98,628 from the state of Connecticut from our LoSAP grant fund, which is more than we budgeted for. We had only budgeted for 53,000, so we received more. Then we received $79,216 in interest income in May. Very good. We received $40,299 in recording fees, $80,648 in building permits, and $15,440 in beach passes. And then if you look way down at the bottom, we have the Board of Education Special Ed. We received $21,536. So that makes we have a surplus of $2,024,433 as of May 31. That's all I have.
Do we not budget anything for special ed?
We do not, because the town never receives that money. Well, we receive the money, we report on it, but the Board of Ed counts that as part of offsetting their expenditures. So, so we don't look at it as Board of Finance towards our budgeted amounts for state revenues and things like that.
So that is when they give us a budget, is that money sort of off?
When they give us a budget, they do not deduct anything for that. So that's extra money that they receive.
Gotcha, okay, all right, so it just as a newbie, next time we go through the Board of Ed budget and they come in and say we need 35 million. They also get, there's another 99,000.
Yes.
And there's probably a couple other things. Is there
They
anything else?
have, yes, well, in the off budget accounts that you receive, there's a lot of other monies that they get, and if they were here, they would probably say, and I don't want to speak for them, but they would say, well, we have to expend X amount of dollars on special ed, and we never know how much these special ed expenses to be. And so therefore, the state reimburses for that, and I don't know exactly what they submit to get that money back, if anything, or if it's formulaic, or how many students they have, but there's some metric that they use to get the money back, so. But to your point, the expenditures are in the budget. And that's over there, that's not part of their budget presentation.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, George.
Sorry, can I follow up on that a little bit? So the special education part is separate from the ECS, right? And so,
Yes.
we're putting this in the local revenue, but in terms of the local revenue, which again is. You don't understand why it's here, but
It should be an understate revenue, I made a note to myself.
I see,
It's
but
a state revenue, yes.
my understanding in terms of special education is that they reimburse 4.5 times the per pupil cost. And because our student population keeps going down, or total budget keeps going up, or per pupil cost keeps increasing, so 4.5 times that becomes a very high number. And so there was a direct comment in their budget last year that they did not budget any refund, or what do you call it, offset from the state. And so this money, they're not anticipating this.
No, they're in, well, okay,
Well, at least they didn't budget into.
they didn't budget it.
They didn't budget it.
They anticipate something, they just don't know what exactly
Right.
it is.
And at some point, it will not happen, because that number, that 4.5 times would be so large. You're never gonna hit it.
And the
It's probably even got 100,000.
Right, and the reason why the Board of Finance should look at this is because it is part of the general fund. So, you know, if we were to look at the town as a whole, which the auditors do, and everybody else that looks at our budget does, when we report on these numbers, that's gonna be one of our revenues. What maybe some people won't recognize is how we internally divvy up the revenues that come in, and say, all right, Board of Ed, you get to offset your budget costs with this revenue. And then the town uses the other revenues, but it is part of the general fund, the special ed. I know your point is a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're very clear that the ECS never comes to them, and so they didn't have even budget at all, so the ECS component never goes, but this one, yeah.
And to your point, when we do the revenues, I think during the budget process, we do not look at special ed revenues. And I don't know that we would be able to predict what it is, which is why they probably don't include it as part of their budget.
We don't, if I get,
Yeah.
when do they find out? They may not know their budget until when do they actually.
I don't know the answer to that, probably when the funds arrive, but I don't know if they have to submit something to request it. And then the funds arrive, so, you know, they might have a little head, you know, forward advance notice.
They don't, I feel like I'm completely going off topic with this, right? So there are actually two different aspects to this, right? And so if your school, if both Saybrook sends a student away to a special, because they cannot provide the services, that's what the only time when it becomes that expensive. We have to pay for that, and then 4.5 times that, we get some reimbursement, that's what we get reimbursement for the state. But there is another component where if we can provide services that another town cannot provide, they send that student to us, we can charge that town whatever the fee is, and I don't know where that money goes, so they just stay with the school?
It must, because we don't see it here.
Because at one point, that money was so high that, remember there was this house that was 2 doors down from McDonald's? They were ready to buy that
Yeah.
with that fund.
And they were gonna use that house for the children that remain in the school system after they graduate,
Yes.
who are still their obligation.
But it was
until
within the
21.
purview, but within the concept of that,
Yeah.
where the money came from.
Yeah.
But that fund was actually far enough to be able to buy a
Yeah, it
house.
was.
Then what happened? We didn't buy the house.
Too bad.
That's too bad.
Appreciate it.
I've tried to like that, was on the street.
Yeah, you remember that?
I do,
Yeah,
and I remember how they were gonna use it.
yeah. And then because it was connected, they could just break the fence and just come in the backside, right?
Yeah. We're good at that.
Okay, anyway, so I'm so sorry.
No,
Sorry, Barbara.
I'm all done.
Any other questions? Comments? Thank you very much, Barbara.
Thank you.
So, I have a question. So, at this point, we're already sitting at $2 million surplus. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be one more coming in, right? Probably the
One
next
more
report.
million?
No, the next report.
Wish.
So I usually start with
I'm sorry.
my revenue estimates.
sorry.
That's okay. Do you want me to start? my
Please, I'm
report?
sorry.
Okay. Okay, so, as Barbara mentioned, the revenue surplus right now is 2 million. And for the month of June, we'll probably get in another 200,000. So at the bottom edge of our surplus, estimation is 2.2 million. And then I'd say, you know, I'm not counting anything for the school, as I've mentioned before, because they intend to keep all that in that 2% account. So, you know, 2.2 million, $400,000 expenditure surplus on the town side. So 2.2 to 2.6 is what this looks like at this point. Okay, so for my written report here, a couple of comments that I'll make. With regard to ARPA, we are slowly winding down, and now we have it fully used all of the youth and family services funds that ARPA allocation is done. So that's going to come off the list next month. And, you know, the other ones, leasing and social services are very similar, where we spend money every single month, a little bit every single month on the various projects. So that will be used. The generator, we have a contract for the remaining 5,245, which will be spent on a it's a maintenance fee for the generator that we have to pay for servicing it. So we're
There's also a fence, the fencing.
going the
put
fence in
around
there
it,
too. Yes.
Which they were gonna throw in. He was gonna throw it in as part of the deal. He didn't bill us for it in his estimate, but we were like, we have this ARPA money, I think we need to spend it.
We do,
It doesn't
yeah.
come back to us, so we're like, for whatever it costs, he can, you know. So,
Yep. And I'm not sure about the cemetery.
yeah, I just
Do you know
made a
anything
note,
about that?
I'm gonna make a note and check on that tomorrow, because that's really the biggest,
Like it's not there.
that's the one that's outstanding, and it doesn't seem to have gone down a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It has.
What were they
it
gonna
hasn't-
do with the cemetery?
So they're what are they doing?
Yeah, what were they gonna do?
Well, what are they going to do?
Okay.
They're going to repoint a lot of the stones and just
Oh, good.
really make Cypress Cemetery, a lot of the stones are very old and, just,
That's good.
rebuild some of them
Yeah.
even that are just deteriorated.
That's
So,
great.
There's some that
That's
are,
good.
I live next to it,
Yeah.
beautiful,
It
but
is beautiful.
there's,
yeah,
there's more than one that are just
Oh, there's so
falling
many. I
over
know.
and.
so I'll check on that.
But they've gotta get going on it, yeah.
Well, until the end of the year, I think, right?
Yeah, they have till
Yeah.
December. Maybe they were just waiting for good weather, I hope.
Uh,
All right, page 2, just to remind you that back in March, under capital non-recurring, we appropriated 106,900 for the town hall masonry work. And as you'll see when I get to page 3, when I talk about the cash flows on page 3, which is next. In terms of the capital funds, those, we used 533,000, and the 2 projects that we worked on was, the completion of the masonry work, or at least we paid for it. I'm not sure if it's totally completed yet. And the other piece under capital funds was the sidewalk to Westbrook. I'm sure you all went down that way and saw it being worked on. General fund minus $3.5 million. We got, as Barbara reported, had 500,000 revenues coming in, $400 million worth of expenses.
4
Um,
million, you said 400 million.
oh, Am I doing that again?
That's okay.
Extra zero.
It's 396 million
Sarah's
between
sitting next
friends.
to me, reminds me of my old days at the state. and I
That's
love that.
Where zero.
Sorry.
The reserve funds, minus 26,000, that was due to a payment for, out of our WPCA account toward phase three, some consulting arrangement type fees. And then under the non-major funds, which encompasses all of those other funds that you see on the off budget sheet, minus 156,000. And again, that's the pension fund and youth and family fund. We always have little pluses and minuses in the other funds, but those are the major movers. So for the month of May, we had an outflow of $4.3 million. This report's going to be a little boring because under capital outlays next, we had absolutely no changes from the prior month to report on. Capital expenditures, which comes directly out of the budgets of all of our department heads, we had absolutely no change from the prior month. Usually we have a little bit of movement, but you know, everybody's finishing up their budgets, finishing up their projects for this fiscal year and getting ready, starting to prepare for fiscal year 27. So not unusual. On the schedule of all of the departments, just to go over a couple of things. Retiree health insurance, 4142, quarter of the way down. We're actually gonna have about a $28,000 surplus in that line item. That's, well, because people passed away and we don't have to pay for their health insurance. That's a little bit unusual, a little bit high, but that's going, I just kind of point some of the unusual positive ones out. Registrar of voters is going to end up minus 20,000. And we talked about that one because of all those special elections that we've had. ZBA, a couple line items down, 415502. That one's gone over, but only by about $1,000. Again, lawsuits, and there's still be more expenditures coming in June, but that's not gonna, none of these are gonna go over the 25,000. I should have said that to begin with. And then political subdivisions is went over by about 5,000. So we're at 102, almost 103%. The police expenditures, Carl, just as an FYI, because you weren't here, but the chairman acknowledged the chief's memo and says he doesn't need to come back. They're all clear, and he didn't sign in either. So I just wanted to, he was thinking of coming in, so just as an FYI. Snow and ice, we talked about that, had a horrendous winter, but the department will come within the appropriate range. Department of Public Works. Vicky Duffy and the other parks are over just a tad, like 2,000 for Vicky Duffy, 2,000 for the parks. Nothing unusual there. We still have one more month. We'll have a little something, but it's not going to go over by much more. The Kate right now is over 4,000. It'll probably end up over more like 6,000. But as you may recall, we came to you in February and we had those repairs for the HVAC units that was about 8,000. So they're still within all the budget. Everything else looks normal. I'm met with the auditor today. I have a couple comments, but does anybody have any questions on any of this stuff before I move on?
Just one question. Since we went through the budget, a few months ago, any vacancies, departures, additions to town staff?
Besides me?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I don't think we've had any changes. But we're pretty steady.
Okay.
I mean, we have the new captain on,
Yeah.
and Sarah's coming on, and I can't think of anybody
So
else.
looking for the additional maintainer and public works.
Yeah, that one's still open.
Okay.
I think two positions open right now. And I'm gonna talk to Bill Clappy about what to do about that. And I don't know if we need to perhaps, so I talked to the town manager in Clinton. We've been having a lot of discussions about a lot of different issues where we're trying to share more resources, even with Madison a little bit. It was initially a police discussion, but it evolved into some other discussions and she had just settled her public works contract. So I said, can I see it? And one of the things they do, and I think I showed you the schedule. If you're there, so let's say that you get $25 an hour. If you're here 2 years, then you would normally get your step raise of, let's say, the step raise plus whatever raise you're gonna get. You might get another 50 cents an hour more. It's a longevity bonus built into the contract. And I liked it. I thought it was kind of a neat idea, so it's something that I'm gonna talk to Bill about a little bit. And it might, first of all, incent people to stay and maybe help people bring on because when you come on right now, you're at the low end of the totem pole. And it's hard to get to advance to a maintainer 3, you start at a maintainer 2. It's hard to get to the maintainer 3 because there are guys in that position. Well, this is a way for you to start making additional money and not become that maintainer 3. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit.
Numbers come about, I mean, just without knowing, hopefully numbers come about, because without knowing the landscape, 50 cents sounds really low.
I'm just throwing out.
Oh, I see.
I have it on
Okay.
my desk. I don't
I see.
remember exactly what it was, but
But that's ballpark, right? It's not.
it's not a lot. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
no, it's not, but it raises your hourly rate. So that's on every hour you work. So if it's $1 an hour, that's a bump
Yeah, okay.
that you're not negotiating in collective bargaining. So let me, don't
yeah.
quote me on the number, okay? But it's the concept more than I'm sharing. Longevity at 1 year, at 5 years,
Yeah, I think
you
it's a
know.
great idea, but if we want to retain people, it
Yeah.
feels like we need to.
Pay them more.
Yeah, exactly,
Well-
right, like a carrot,
We're actually retaining the people who have been here.
I see.
We're having trouble attracting people, but I'm not sure that. I did talk to a few other towns and it's hard to attract
Right.
people at that level. It just is right now. So.
I met with the auditors today and I had a couple of things I wanted to bring up. First of all, at the last meeting, I think either Jeff asked the question about what we're gonna do with the Kate and with the library, where we have all different sources of funds, private donations, grant funds, town funds, etc. And so I just wanted to get their perspective about how this should be handled. And so we'll have to speak with the library and the Kate, because they would like all the funds to come to the town. Obviously, we have to cut all the checks. So we want all the money to come here. Now, we don't have to take it in all at once. We can ask for draws, we can say, all right, I need $200,000 this month, or whatever the case may be, if they wanna hang on to it, especially in the case where maybe some monies will be left over and they wanna do something different with it, with their donation monies or whatever, but we can certainly fine tune that when the time comes, but in terms of the bond funds, we're gonna spend those first. For the Kate, the bond funds will be spent first. And then we can figure out, do we do 50-50 town funds donations? Do we do town funds next? That is in our control of how we wanna do that. And they don't really, the auditors don't really care. But I know that we wanna spend bond funds first. And we do want to have all the money under our roof and watch every single penny of how it's being spent. So we'll have to make sure that folks from the Cape and the folks from the library who might care how it's happening, that we make sure they're comfortable with how that's going to work. Secondly, I usually talk about the areas of the exam focus. They're different every single year. Because there's been, some situations in Britain, specifically.
Yeah.
Their area of concern is going to be P cards and procurements. And specifically, you know, they want to know how we guard against inappropriate spending. And so, you know, we have a few things already in place. Number one, when we put the P card program into place, that we actually had to go in and we fill out this thing that says, for example, we do not allow purchases of jewelry. That's like a no. We do not allow international travel to be purchased. So there's some guardrails there when we set up the P card program. Obviously, we issue all the cards. Very important is the fact that we require receipts for everything, and we pretty much get receipts for everything. Every now and then, somebody loses a receipt, but it's very rare, and so we know where all the money is being spent, and we look at it for reasonableness. But probably, and this won't come to the attention of the Board of Finance, this will come to our attention, that they'll want us in our procurement policy to probably add a little more, you know, ethical things and things that people have to do when they spend these cards. And so we'll work with them on that, make sure that we get all of that. The other thing that we did do over the past year is a couple of years ago, we noticed that everybody had their own Amazon account and that some people were actually using their own Amazon account to buy things, you know, and we would get receipts and reimburse everything. So we set up an Amazon business account. And so everybody now, no choice, you have to go through that. Same thing with the receipts. It's handled the same exact way as the P card. It works the same way because it's for all intents and purposes, an electronic credit card. So, so she was pretty pleased with, you know, the steps that we had taken, and I'm sure that they will encourage us to continue to do it. And they will be looking at a lot of those transactions under the microscope, which is great. So, so that's one area that they're going to focus on this year. The other area is tax payments. In the instance where a tax payment would be, this happened there too, where a tax payment was delinquent and they would waive somehow. Well, they wouldn't waive the interest, they would backdate it to July when it was due, so that they wouldn't have to pay the interest. So they asked us, you know, I mean, we reconcile all the bank accounts, but we can't necessarily see, you know, what if they backdated it or anything like that. So there's, and we just put it into place today. Now we have a report where we, there's a way that we can check it, and we are putting that into place. So, that one, we're not waiting for them to tell us what to do. We're just gonna do it going forward, make sure everything's good. And the other thing is, AI and technology. And they're taking a close look at our cyber policies. They had a questionnaire for Larry to fill out, and he did. And we actually do a lot of this anyway. You know, with our cyber insurance company that they have, they actually try to break into our systems, and you know, and we do have cyber insurance, which that was one of the questions that they have. And they went through all of the policies that you should have for, you know, changing passwords, all that stuff. And we were able to answer in the affirmative for everything, but I'm sure if they can come up with something that would make us safer and less subject to fraud, that they will do so. So we went through all of those things. We are just waiting for the year end, get everything to them. They'll be back in November, finalize fiscal year 26.
Just a comment on P card. I administrated those in two different companies, have the scars to prove it.
Okay.
One of the biggest, so one's at UTC and one's at FedEx, and at UTC, unfortunately, we had a very loose program. Citibank was ours.
Oh, okay.
And they were excellent to come up and basically, you know, beat us up a little bit. And I think they said you were second worst only to the US government in our control. So our controls, this was back in the early 2000s. Anyway,
So city came to you.
well,
and-
city was our provider.
Okay, yeah.
And and we knew this was a centralized procurement team, that I ran up there. But we had them come in and tell us best practices. They couldn't tell us exactly how their fraud alerts worked because you can't tell people that stuff, right?
Right.
Anyway, one of the biggest deals was the liability on the card, joint and several versus individual. And, we had our CFOs that wanted to make sure that if an employee had done something nefarious with a card, you could attach wages, but the implications of that were unacceptable because you're basically writing it off. Anyway, my point that I'm trying to make is, Paul, I still remember what we did in both companies, and it was an interesting, they were hundreds of, like $800 million on these cards. Well,
Wow.
such a huge company, right? And it was more convenient, right?
Mhm.
But could be right for just all sorts of things that you don't want happening, so.
Happy to share so our procurement policy really just talks about how to issue POs.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit agnostic to how we pay for it,
Yeah.
whether it's cash or
Yeah.
check or,
Yeah.
well, we don't pay for things in cash, but check or credit card or whatever. So yes,
Yeah,
love to
and
share
the
that with
merchant codes, that was another,
the merchant.
the merchant codes turning them off for things like jewelry, and we had a guy buy a boat.
Yes.
We had a guy, this was not a FedEx, I can say,
Well,
we
we
had a guy buy a boat.
You had to get
We
it there.
could probably buy a boat though in ours.
And we had another guy buy camera
Yeah.
equipment and had it shipped to the company, and he
Yeah.
rented the house from his boss, and oh my gosh.
That's
So,
terrible.
there were, no one here would do that, but it was so, because it was a card,
Yeah,
and so people had an attachment in some cases. Not everybody, in very few cases, people hadn't, they had attachment and, justifying, well, I'm gonna use my card, to fill up my tank or pay for my cruise because, the company owes me money over here. Anyway, we had to do such a huge education program. But because it was low dollar purchase orders and this was so much easier, we didn't do a great job in the beginning on controls, so.
gosh.
Yeah, and then
We've
you
seen it all then.
write it off, right? And then the credit card company will send it to collections and they get to keep their money. So
Mm.
anyway, just
Yeah, oh, thank you. I
P cards are
appreciate that.
wonderful with controls.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and the library uses the P card a lot, and you'll see in Park and Rec when Ray uses it. You'll see ice cream purchases, which might be like, who's buying ice cream on the P card? But, he's buying it for down there, down at the beaches, so. They'll probably want to dig deeper on a few of the purchases. But, it'll coordinate with the department as to why they did it.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I know in our office, Georgianne is very stringent with receipts, so I went on, through our insurance company, Karma, our liability, auto, property, workers' comp. We do a little trip every year down, and they pay for everything, but there are some things that I'll put on the card and they reimburse for, and Georgianne is very good, about make sure you have the receipt, and number one, so we can get
Sounds like
reimbursed
you're
from them,
golden.
but also because it's going on the town credit card.
Yeah.
Um,
And one of the best reasons besides convenience, not paying, for the purchase order, rigmarole, rebate money.
Right.
Yeah, the rebate.
Huge.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
We get
folks want that, but
$15,000 back every year
yeah,
for just using our card.
Yep.
So we encourage them to
Yeah.
use their card.
Yeah.
We want them to use
it's
it.
a nice little fund.
So our biggest customer or vendor on the card is the water company, I believe, we pay.
Yeah.
And that's about, 650,000, 700,000. And we put that right on the P card, but I believe we
We
do.
do, they still let us.
They,
still do it.
yeah, whereas, Eversource, I don't believe that, they don't allow it.
They don't want the merchant.
I'm surprised actually that the water company still allows that, but they do.
They
And
probably.
that's a big
yeah,
one.
yeah, They probably get that fee reimbursed somehow, but
Mm.
it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have a question about, I'm sorry, the tax payment, I didn't quite understand
So
Backdated, who's backdating the
this,
people?
we are not backdated.
What happened to the Brit?
That
Oh, I
has
see, I
been
see.
written.
I see.
And so, but the point was that, you know, we don't have like in our reconciliation, we have to go one step further to make sure to check for backdates.
I see.
So,
But how does the back, I don't understand how the backdate.
so if, you know, you owe interest, because it's August or
I see.
October, if you owe money to the town, you owe taxes and you owe interest. And then you're a friend of somebody and you come in and then they backdate it to July and all you have to do is pay the principal. You don't have to pay the interest.
Wow.
So,
It's illegal.
so that.
Yeah, it's illegal.
That's illegal. So that line item in the treasurer's report, that's the very first line item, interest on prior years, they probably had zero in it, maybe, I don't know. But you know,
I see.
that's where that money goes.
That was Aaron, I think Aaron Stewart's first controversy in this segment.
Yeah, it started to dig.
Excellent.
Can I have a question about, the first section of your report? So this is just, I'm sorry, that table, right? So right now, again, I'm just thinking in terms of where, this is page one.
Okay.
Your summary in terms
Yeah.
of budget, and spend year to date. And so this is May, right? So there's one more report coming in, and of course, there's gonna be a little bit that drags it at the end, but at this point,
It's actually 2 months. 2 months because, in June, we paid for May's things. And in July, we paid for June's things. So
I see.
people don't bill
I
us.
see, I see, I
We
see,
try to get everything in, but we call it the 13th month.
I see, okay.
So there's really 2 months left, kind of.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because right now you guys, the town and the Board of Finance, I mean, the Board of Ed, it's almost lockstep in terms of the amount spent, and
Yeah.
I guess the question for you is, what do you anticipate, unspent expenditure, is that the right word?
Yes, underspend. I
Yes.
call underspend of an expenditure. Well, you know, when I look at surplus,
Right,
okay, so we have the revenue surplus, that's kind of easy to see because
Right.
we're already over it and we know about what comes in the last month because it's pretty like clockwork. But in terms of expenditures, you know, we don't know who's going to go under budget. I mean, I think that the police department is gonna come under budget. He said that in his memo, or he said that to me. I don't know where it's from. Okay. So there's $200,000 there. And I said, you know, the retirees, that's done. It's $28,000. So there's 220, just those two budget line items. Now some are over. Registrar's over. You know, some other budgets are also slightly over. So that's why I think the town will come in, you know, 250 to maybe 500 in that range someplace. So we'll have underspend.
so essentially, you're still anticipating spending another 2.5 million between now and, because right now, the school is $4 million unspent money, right? So,
Right. And then that's 600,000 of that is that
Is that
account.
buried in there?
It's in there. They won't do that transaction till the end. Yeah. That's make sure you have a surplus in order to do the.
So if they clear it completely, there'll be 600,000 left.
The 4 million. They will spend 3.4 million and have 600,000 left over. I don't know how.
I understand, no,
And then
I get
And
that.
that won't go, that will be an entry in fiscal year
Yes.
26. You will not see it as part of the surplus
They
calculation.
will probably do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah, do you know what we're talking about there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. With the 2% that they're gonna hold back.
Thank
Yeah.
you to keep it. For the rural education.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Is this an appropriate time I want to ask about the bonding? And then separately about, off budget accounts, which I don't know if I just email you or talk to you separately. I just had some questions. The bonding I'll bring up, this Board of Ed, as I understand, has not come to the town with any ideas for, we're gonna need money for air conditioning. For the two schools.
Right.
And I know it's like a 1.15 million reserve they have for capital expenditures. My concern is we're doing this bonding, which we last did 10 years ago, and this isn't for any of you to take any action. I'm just concerned that, you know, when we had to close the school, all of the schools, I guess, last Friday because of the heat. This happens more and more, and I think there's an impending state mandate for HVAC, which maybe that'll come with some state incentives or something, I'm not sure, but I'm concerned that no one's asked us, and they're not meeting again until the fall. That taxpayers would say like, and particularly parents would say, we're, you know, making the Cape, you know, way better, we're building a new public works garage, and our kids can't go to school when it's too hot. I mean, I don't know if like, I could as a parent, should I reach out to the Board of Ed, or is that something Carl, I mean, has this come up in the past about like, what are they waiting for?
I'm not sure. I know Pam is talking to engineering firms about it. There has been in the past, there may still be in the future, state incentives, state money that you can apply for. So they have money, some money set aside, maybe with state money and maybe with some town money, they can make the project happen. I think Pam Astorti has been looking at engineering firms to determine the best way to look at the middle school. I'm talking about the middle.
Yeah.
And that's the last I heard.
I mean, if it's,
But I mean,
even if it's gonna be 2
Listen.
years for bonding, why not include that, right?
Well, we have to have
it's,
all our.
You have to have everything lined up.
Yeah.
it's not even.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So there may potentially be when
Another.
they need
Oh,
another
could be.
bond, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not every 10 years, you know.
I'm just imagining, I mean, if you pay attention to what's happening with the Board of Ed right now, and there's a pretty big public outcry, and it's like, I thought about that, it's not a really good look, it's not none of our doing, but it's like, you have to kind of get on the stick. Cause the more days that are canceled, you know, snow days are one thing, heat days are another. So I just wanted to ask, so.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wait for them.
We'll wait for them, or wait for reasonable numbers that we can work with.
And for off-budget accounts, should I just wait and talk, cause they've got like 10 different accounts I had questions on.
Up to the chairman,
We don't have a, we don't.
Okay, yeah, I can be quick. I can be quick, and it's probably, I mean, Leanne's probably gonna be able to throw answers out.
I still.
But just, you know, going through this with a fine-tooth comb, the shellfish fund, it looks like in 2019. This was for, like, are we gonna relaunch the industry, or is that, was that on somebody's radar to do, or is this
The
just kind
Shellfish
of
Commission, yeah,
like to start doing it? Yeah.
yeah, they have been testing the water. But DEP has been very firm, saying you cannot even consider opening any shellfish beds until you are finalized with your WPCA project.
Okay,
So-
so it's sitting there for
It
eventually.
kind of is, but the Shellfish Commission has actually done a fair bit of work trying to regrow oysters in the Oyster River. And they've done a lot of water testing, and water testing has come back really good.
Okay.
So they were hoping that they could maybe encourage a couple of farming companies to come in, but that kind of didn't go
Wait for the
anywhere.
approval, okay, all right, I was just curious. And then a couple, so 2805, the OSPD short for charity, and then 2885. It just said charitable fund. My question is, since it's for charity, and again, 2885, maybe that's a misnomer, the charitable fund, but the short for charity, doesn't that money like go out to a charity? They get it in and goes out to a charity?
Yes. So there's still a little bit left over, I think. So sometimes what happens in that case, the shorts for whatever.
Okay.
I don't know what the new chief is gonna do.
Yeah.
but, is that they give the money to the person or entity, and then subsequent donations come in, or donations just come in for whatever, and then they save it for the next round of shorts.
Okay, all right, so there's always gonna be a,
And then the charitable funds, was the COVID, back when we had COVID and all the people in the town donated their money, and then we had a committee that was giving away all the money to people that were affected by COVID. And then we had, when everything was all said and done, we have almost $29,000 left over. So the focus of that committee now is to assist people, you know.
so it's there,
if
if somebody comes in,
Something comes up, you know, I don't know what you would, we do, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
if it's somebody in the
Money for
town
a
needs
wheel.
us,
Yeah,
then we have something for a starter for another program that we might do in the future.
okay, so it's internal, okay,
Yeah.
thank you, and then, well, I talked about the 2832
Yeah.
already, so I don't need to ask about that. The social service donations and the Youth and Family Services Private Donation Fund.
What number is that one?
Oh, sorry, 2867 and 2869. That's cumulative, those donations, the same kind of thing, they're there in case there's a need.
Correct, and so that is private money that comes in, so. One of the things that we talked about when we went over this is that we have to segregate it, particularly if. When that money was collected, that they collected it for a specific purpose, so and over at Youth and Family or Social Services, if they collected it to pay for oil or something like that, then. They keep those records of what the different donations go for, or sometimes they just give money and say, I just wanna make a donation to the folks. But they do keep it that way, and we do like to keep donations in particular separate. But yes, we've got quite a generous town.
Yeah, and my thinking, I've done a lot with nonprofit work over the course of my life, and it's like. The money is helpful when it's turned into food in somebody's fridge.
Yeah.
It's not really helping, I mean, it's earning interest, but it's not really doing anything sitting in there.
As we see, it's a little cyclical when we're in a recession.
Okay, so there are needs,
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't gonna grow to
It's not gonna.
$500,000, okay,
Correct,
all right,
yeah.
okay, again, it's just a concern that we're actually
Doing something.
putting it to the good use. And then that was it, so thank you very much, Liam, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. No, thank you. Carter, to appreciate a little bit, but the other item that Mark talked about, because we brought up the police chief memo earlier on.
Yes.
Minutes, and I guess he had a question, there was a particular main capital fund for emergency.
Not a capital, it's not a capital,
No,
but
but
it's an off budget account.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Liam would have.
Funded, it was an off budget account for emergency, and the emergency dispatchers is the, the 911 operators.
Yeah,
But you looked up the statute.
yeah, the
You felt
statute,
that there was a little window to use some of that money to outfit some of the police cars, so we're gonna just mention it to
Yeah.
the chief.
it's just a thought, I know it's surplus money, but it's like, this is designated, when's the next time we're gonna have. The opportunity to spend that. Not designated, it's restricted, the
Where are
state
the
law.
funds? I mean,
There's a.
Off budget account.
fund, Emergency dispatchers, and
Oh.
and there's a statute that, we get money from the state,
okay,
comes into that account, and then they say, kind of like the cannabis fund, you can spend it on those
Oh,
types of
right.
things. So,
And I have
Yeah.
I mean, you could take it.
I need to see the account. I probably recognize the account and then I trust you on the statute.
It's, the account, do you have the off budget account?
I don't.
Oh.
it's 2832, I'll send you
Yeah,
an email,
okay.
see.
Yeah, no, I
It's a
mean,
back office thing, but
That's great.
why not use that?
Yeah.
money? We
absolutely.
surplus money, we have more flexibility.
Good.
anything else?
I was gonna ask if we had time, what you could tell us about the Lynn Lighthouse and the Fenwick news about.
There's
the
not
bar-
much to talk about. I do know that Fenwick received notice from Doug Burgum, Secretary of the Interior, that that award was going to go to Fenwick for the inner light. I'm not really surprised by that. I don't know that either administration, the previous one or this one, I don't know that it would make a darn bit of
Yeah,
difference,
yeah.
as to where it would gone. Maybe I'm wrong. They have not received title to it yet. That, and how they determine to proceed
Yeah.
with it is probably something that's honestly 3 years out.
Yeah. And do they have any obligation to the town? It's federal property,
Public, they do.
but to tell us, for instance, it's all private property down there, so two properties need an easement, but how are you gonna provide for public access and do
I
they owe
think,
us any?
I don't think they owe us, they owe the feds a
Yeah.
plan.
Okay,
I don't think they owe the town that.
Okay.
It is complicated, it's a complicated way to access
Mm,
the property, and there's two other parcels or two other pieces of real property on there. There's a barn and a former house.
right,
I've been in both
Yeah.
and they both need to come down.
Yeah.
Now, that may be a shame that the house has to come down
yeah, yeah,
and that it wasn't maintained better.
Yeah.
Because how nice, maybe, I don't know, maybe
it's like a Perkins.
people could have, whether it was emergency, you know, maybe firefighters out there on in a hurricane or something, you know. But that, the feds let it go to hell about it. I went to the top of the lighthouse. You walk in that lighthouse and it's nothing but chips of paint everywhere, everywhere.
Mhm.
It's like crunch, crunch, crunch all the way up, but it's beautiful when you get
All
up there.
lead too.
I mean, hard to believe it wasn't.
Hope you didn't eat any.
That's when it looked good.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
jeez.
so,
Okay.
but, that, I don't know anything other than that, other than they received notice.
Yeah.
When they'll actually get to acquire title, I have no idea.
So they do become owners. I didn't know if the stewards of it, it was the same thing as ownership, or is it always the federal
I
government?
think they're going, I believe they're gonna acquire the land and acquire the lighthouse, like Frank Sciammi owns the outer light. He owns it. Now, there's an agreement you make with the feds that you have to, maintain,
Remediate,
maintain it
right, yeah.
in good condition, because they're functioning lighthouses, so there is an obligation that goes with it, but I think the rest of it, they don't care that much about it.
I can't imagine it would get the attention in Washington. It's just, it's not like you can get to it now legally anyway, you know.
You can go by
Well,
boat.
You can.
You can go by boat or you could go by cover, no, so I hear, not kidding. But it's just such beautiful.
And not only that,
It would be wonderful if you could get
The
to it.
fence around it, right? I
Oh,
mean, you
yeah.
can just walk right in.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, so it's, you know, so I think the first thing they will do, and it may be a bad look, is secure the property.
Yeah,
Because it's, you know, if someone gets injured in there,
yes, yes,
so.
okay. Good. More to come on that.
Anything else?
Good.
Good, thank you. Next item, selectmen report.
Yeah, so, you know, I just wanna to call attention to one account, catastrophic illness, which is on page 4 of Leanne's report. You know, we have 290, I mean, I just wanna make sure everyone is aware of what that's for. That is basically our, so it's page 4, first in the municipal reserve account, catastrophic illness. That's a fund we started, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe, and we pay out of that for heart hypertension for our police officers. I think we're all aware of that statute that was passed and then rescinded at a later date because it was bankrupting towns, essentially. Towns were bonding for that obligation because it flips the presumption. The officer is presumed to have gotten heart and hypertension or heart disease because they were a police officer. You have to prove a negative, and you can't do that. So, but anyway, we have, I think 2 or 3 officers, 3, I think, in payment status. Those payments, I think, are made in July every year. So that fund goes down, it goes up. We're not expending, I don't believe we're expending the full 70,000. So we are still saving some money, but we also have some officers who are not completed with their final claim.
So we got rescinded, but were they grandfathered if they had already started getting payment? Is that why?
Well, when I say rescinded,
Some officers are in that window that they can still get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're, yes. So, for instance, there was an officer, who retired from the police department probably 5 years ago. And it follows workers' compensation law, and as a lawyer, I did it for a minute, and you realize it's kangaroo court and you want to get out of it. It's like, and you do temporary partial illness, not permanent partial. So he did his temporary. You get paid for the temporary because they assign you a certain number of weeks for how high your blood pressure is or something, or it's just like if you lost a thumb. A thumb on my dominant hand might be worth 42 weeks, so I get 42 weeks of my pay. It's the same with heart and hypertension, that's how it worked. And then eventually, but with heart and hypertension, if your condition worsens, you can go back and maybe get another 50 weeks. And then if you want to settle the case once and for all, if you say, look, I want the money, I want a payout. And we did that with 3 of the officers where we entered into one of them, a 12-year payout, 20,000 a year. There was another one, I think, got more of a lump sum, and then there's another one in yearly payment steps. So I just wanted to, if everyone didn't know what that account was for, it's just one of those accounts that we started saving for a future liability that we had. And it probably can't get big enough because there are claims still coming in. So we did finish that town hall roofing job. It was noisy here for a little bit. Most of the work, as it turns out, was done around the edges of the roof on the outside. We had a lot of rain over Memorial Day and we had no complaints. So, knock on wood that I didn't hear any leaking. I didn't see any pails in the hallway, so far so good. But they were here, they got the job done, which is great. One thing that is coming up that I think is pretty interesting. We started this about a year and a half ago, creating a new, this is a kind of a soft rollout here, a new municipal brand. Anybody aware of that?
Town rebranding.
So when this is in color, it's blue and gold. And if I, Megan, turned to you and you were from Simsbury, I said, what town is that? You'd say, I have no idea what town that is. It's only identifiable to us in Old Saybrook. And it's not a very good brand. So we have worked with a company and we will be doing a soft unveiling and then more of an official unveiling of a new municipal brand. Now, we had a committee that we put together. We had Greg Nucci was on it, an architect, and some really neat people in the community who worked with Miranda Creative, who Jennifer Donahue does a lot of work with advertising the town. They did a great job. Then we did 2 focus groups. We had about 20 to 30 people. We had 2 sessions. We threw it at them through different versions and we kind of, I didn't have a lot to do with it. I watched a lot and we kind of synthesized that and we have a final product. So we are going to, you'll see it a little bit on June 28th, Saybrook, or Celebrate Saybrook Day. You may see it in the sky.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Try to get it in the sky, yeah.
We can watch the lighthouse.
So, anyway, but I don't know if you're gonna see it, as good as it can be. So we're gonna start rolling that out over the course of the next 2 to, 8 weeks. You'll see it in different versions, okay? So pretty cool, and it's really been incredibly well received, and it identifies our town. June 28th, we have our Celebrate Saybrook Day. I will tell you that this is the 4th year in a row it happens, and we have a group of people who work really hard on it. We have meetings every 2 weeks. There's about probably 15 of us in the meeting. There are a lot of moving pieces and parts that go into this Celebrate Saybrook Day. And, but it's gonna be really great this year. Social media, Jennifer's telling me, is kicking it. It's like going crazy with this. And we use Miranda Creative to help us push it out. I'll be on, thanks to the chief, I'll be on WPLR with Chaz and AJ. I've never listened to them, but I'll be on their show about 9 a.m. Friday, the 26th. I'll be on with a couple cooking guests, I think Wednesday and Thursday of that week, also Channel 3 and then Channel 8. So we're doing the media. And so that is, we're hoping for a big success and a day like today.
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce Day, right? We have. These things are connected. We are doing tomorrow. I think what's gonna be a decent sized press conference down at the seawall at Saybrook Point. The Connecticut Port Authority, which awarded us a 50% grant for that project, up to about $395,000. Wanted to coordinate the big check presentation,
Yeah.
so we're doing a big check presentation. I've notified the Harbor News, the Connecticut Examiner, the Connecticut Port Authority allegedly notified. The other media, larger media outlets, Hartford Current, New London Day probably, and hopefully, WFSB and TNH. We'll see if they show up. I don't know if it's big enough deal for them, some of them to show up, but we'll have Senator Marks there, Devin Carney will be there, Barbara will be there. I'll be there, Scott Gingrich will be there, Jane's on vacation, Jane's away right now, visiting her son, I think in New Zealand or something. So we should have a pretty good crowd down there. The contractor that we've chosen to rebuild the seawall, I think will also be there. They're gonna start mobilizing tomorrow to start doing work on the seawall. That is a company named Sumco, Sumco. And we've been doing going back and forth on a contract for the last 3 to 5 days, and we pretty much finalized it. And then I'm entering into a hold harmless agreement with John Kadama because it's still his property and we're gonna be on it. And I'm gonna probably, we'll finalize that tomorrow also. So everything's in good shape down there. And so the contractor's starting and we have this, nice press conference going on tomorrow. Tomorrow's also, I'll go from middle school closing ceremony at 10 to down there to 11. So I'll probably, are you gonna be at the?
No,
You don't have any?
no kids in middle.
He's
Yeah.
from our school.
So, and then, following on that. We put out an RFP, I think I mentioned this to the crew last time, an RFP for a landscape architect. That is, bids will be open, I think July 2nd, we put it out until. With not a mandatory visit to the site on June 23rd. So, things are happening on this. I did get notice from the landowner, Dock and Dine, that they may need a little bit more time, but as long as everything's moving in the right direction, I don't mind extending the due diligence period. We don't anticipate it'll be that long. We did get I have the phase 2 report in hand. The phase 1 and phase 2 reports both came back good, so the property is not polluted, so we have no concern there. So we're in good shape. I think everything is really moving along. We are preparing for a much bigger vision down there. And it may take a year, 2 years to get there, but the work is being done right now. Main Street. So you'll see outside, when you go outside on the electronic signboard, a parking ban for Wednesday night, 10 PM to 6 AM. We're gonna stripe this side of Main Street. And if they can get to the other side, they will. The reason I heard this a lot, the reason it was not striped before is because, or while they went, they charge a mobilization fee. And just made sense for them to come in twice, not 5 times or 6 times. Jesse Dibble's moving really quickly. He's doing a great job. I wouldn't be surprised if he's nearly done tomorrow, close. He may not finish tomorrow, but he's gonna get darn near there. They accomplish a lot in one day, but he's been, yeah.
No, it's.
So, and then we're really on this contractor to finish the crosswalks. Believe me, I was driving down Main Street the other day and someone was walking his dog, across Main Street. And this is like the 3rd time I've done this, where I've stopped and said, the things weren't blinking. I said, please press the button. And he goes, I did. And so it's not working. That one wasn't working at that time. So I saw somewhere,
You got knocked down.
so we're really on this contractor, they gotta get back here. But they will be back probably within 2 weeks, and it's gonna look phenomenal. Because it's gonna be this, brick imprint, thermoplastic going across Main Street on that black tar, it's just gonna look
Does it
phenomenal.
kind of raise up or
No,
no?
Nope.
But it's a differential type of look,
Yeah, it
the
looks,
crosswalk,
brick, it's gonna look
Okay,
like
yeah.
brick,
so people will see it.
yeah, oh yeah.
Dangerous, right?
And Route One, as you saw, Route One, our long national nightmare is over, on Route One.
It looks wonderful, huh?
So they did all the extruded concrete curbing in one day, the other day, and right now it's just landscaping.
Yes.
And so unfortunately, it's not a great time for landscaping. Hot, dry, but, they have an obligation, usually on landscaping, there's a 1-year guarantee.
yes.
So they have to make it work or they have to come back. But it's gonna look phenomenal. I think it already does look phenomenal. It goes all the way just about to Westbrook, and someday Westbrook will meet us on the other side. They have their money. They do. They have their money to do this project. They're committed to doing it. And probably, the last thing I wanted to talk about is, the bond schedule and how we're looking in terms of dates. I had a brief offline, email conversation with George. So here's the plan. I had a conversation with Shipman and Goodwin, our bond counsel up there. By the way, I want to make one more comment. Because when I was talking to bond counsel, I said, you're aware Leanne Palladino's leaving. And she's like, oh, yeah, I think I heard that. And I said, are you aware of who our new finance director will be? And she's like, no. And I've had this conversation with multiple, I was at a board of directors meeting for Kerma, and I was talking to Dave Demchek, whatever he is, CEO, executive director of Kerma. And, I said, oh yeah, Sarah Sanders, the deputy treasurer of the state of Connecticut. Oh, and it was Kimmy Chang, right? Who's the finance director in Granby. And I had this comment back to me, how did you get her? So, and literally, I got that from Danielle Braun yesterday, and so, you've, obviously, people think very highly of Sarah. So, the bond schedule, the plan is for the Board of Selectmen to refer this to the Board of Finance. I anticipate I'd like you to have 2 sessions before you recommend it from me, okay? So your next meeting will be July 21st. So at that meeting, it will be on your agenda, and I will have a number for you for the 2 projects. You can do what you'd like. You cannot act that night because there'll be another opportunity for you. And I've built it into the schedule that way. You're more than welcome, depending on your comfort level, Mr. Chairman and Board of Finance, to do what you'd like to do. But my schedule, my thought was to July 21, and then again on either 8/4 or 8/18, that one of those are your meetings. So if it's 8/18, so if you skip one more meeting in August, the Board of Selectmen will probably hold a quick special meeting after you vote on a number. So let's say that vote is 10 million on August 18th. I will probably schedule a Board of Selectmen meeting on August 19th to send it to town meeting. And I'm hopeful to send it to town meeting on the Wednesday after Labor Day. So that would be 9/9. I was thinking town meeting at the end of August, but that's probably not a great time to have a town meeting. And you're probably gonna catch more grief for having a town meeting at the end of August. But so the town meeting will be, I figure, the week of Labor Day, and then it would go to referendum on either. So town meeting automatically adjourns to referendum, and it would go to referendum on either September 22nd or September 29th. And Leanne has already gotten the schedule from our financial advisor on this. And I've looked at those dates, I've tried to coordinate with these.
Yeah, I was gonna say they look like they fit in.
They do, I just had to get in my head, like, and I wanna tell you that you are gonna be asked to vote on this in no later than August, no sooner than July, all right? So just put that in your heads. And then we can get to referendum, it's my intention to have 2 questions. There's such different projects that I think making it 1 question might not be the best. So that is my initial thought on this. It's not a final decision, but that's my initial thought, is to make it 2 different questions.
Did you ask Danielle if one fails and one passes, if they both fail?
No, that's only with the budget. If one,
All right,
yeah, no, if either one passes or either one,
Okay.
they pass. So, the Kate will have a new number, they're working on new numbers, in the next week or 2. And I will probably this week send a reminder to Greg at point 1 that I need a number, obviously. But at this point, it doesn't look like we really need a number until July 7th, but obviously I'd like to have a number before that, because I'd like to know what we're working with, so. Just wanted to put that in your pipes. All right, that's.
So can I follow up on that? Because I had that on my notes in terms of my comments at the end, but I think since you brought it up, I think it's a good timing, right? I mean, in terms of survey the board. So I'm gonna get to Steve first, because I've basically ignored Steve the entire time whether he had any questions. So I'm gonna start with you first, whether you have any question, comments, or anything before I start making some other comments about previous stuff that Carl had presented, or Leanne presented.
No, I don't have any questions, but I will tell you, I am parked at Saybrook Point, and I tell you, what a beautiful view. So looking forward to that project. And then Main Street is looking awesome. So Carl, you're doing a phenomenal job. Can't wait to see what Saybrook Point turns out to be. It's gonna be gorgeous.
Okay.
It is. Thank you.
So then just to follow up a little bit on your schedule, so July 21st, so essentially, I mean, the 2 items, one's gonna be the garage and one's the cave, so no surprises there in terms of what the 2 items are gonna be. I mean, one of the things that Jeff had asked last time, whether we could all go visit the garage at some point.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
Yes.
I encourage you to see
Yes,
this.
no,
garage.
but I would don't wanna have.
So here, why don't I'll make a note, I made a note on the Cypress Cemetery. And I'm gonna make a note, I'm gonna send you guys an email, I'll work with Bill.
Yeah.
And your schedules, and if we could do, whatever,
Yeah.
make that happen.
I mean, when we went like just before this meeting but on the 20.
And try to get there before then,
Oh, I see.
just pop in one day on your way to
Okay.
or from.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can take you through it too, Bill's not there, but Bill will make
I
himself.
see. Then,
I mean, Jeff can walk there, I see him walking all over town. Run into Jeff every week.
but in terms of when you were saying, the July meeting, I don't have the date.
July 21.
21. If the board decides, I mean, I guess the question for how we word the item.
That'll all be in front of you, I'll have it for you.
No, but in terms of, I mean, if we say action, but we choose not to do that action that night, or we don't say an action required, but we decide to make an action.
Action requested, you can even do that, and if you say,
Consideration and possible action is how.
yeah.
So that way we open
Yeah,
up to,
I mean-
yeah, okay, so
Yeah,
we
that's
can
what-
write
yeah,
that, like, that'd be great, that'd work.
Yeah.
And then I guess the question would be whether people want to, if we, on the August 8th meeting, and so just in terms of thinking about other things on the agenda, right, so August 18th, is that when the pension people are coming in?
Yes,
August 18th, so that's.
That's when Morgan Stanley's
Kevin's
coming
gonna
in.
he takes a little bit of. take a
Yes,
good
so that's
45
already
minutes.
that,
That's fine, I mean, I would hope that your discussion on July 21 is pretty thorough, and maybe 8/18 is you know, a shorter discussion. It shouldn't be reinventing the wheel.
I mean, we could meet the.
Oh, you
August
could meet,
8th.
yeah,
I'll keep the August 8th.
August 4th, it would be.
Yeah.
Whichever that was, yeah, whichever the early one is, if people are interested in or want to cancel.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a request. You don't have to do this, but I will not be here on the 21st. I may be able to dial in, but I'm not sure. We'll be camping. So if we could keep the August 8th meeting.
4th.
August 4th.
August 4th meeting, yeah, the first meeting in August, I would really appreciate that for taking action that day instead of the. If you're
Megan,
I'm the same, I can't dial in that,
21st.
you can't on the
in
18th.
July.
21st.
Understood.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not very, I'm on the plane, so.
Yeah. 18th, August 18th, I won't be here. I'll be in Brazil.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Hold on, I got confused
You
there.
won't have a quorum.
So on August 4th, who can be available? Oh,
There you go.
you guys.
July, it's just July
July
21st.
July
July
21st, you don't have
You
enough
can't be
people
there.
for a meeting.
Can't,
You cannot be.
cannot.
Wow, all right.
Yeah,
Steve, are you available? Are you available any of those?
I'm available, any of those 3 dates, the 21st, 4th through the 18th, so I'm good on all.
So how about July 28th? That's a Tuesday.
Mhm.
you could make it a special board.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Can you do it on the 7th or is that too early? Of July, that was a bad week because we have, we're gonna cancel, never mind.
Well, yeah, that's right.
28th.
Yeah, no, we're not doing July 2nd.
I didn't know if we tried that.
I'm sensing for some reason the vice chair, that wouldn't work for him.
So right now, I mean, we already wrote in the minutes that the July 7th meeting.
We
gonna
did.
be canceled.
July 14th.
I didn't officially cancel it yet.
We
No,
talked.
but-
We talked about it, put in your, yeah.
Right, we
on
got
our calendars, yeah.
Before, so
So could we
July
do the-
14th works mostly.
Not
The 14th?
I'm gone both weeks.
Okay.
Everyone else here.
You dying there?
But
I'm on a
we,
plane.
but it's just a presentation of, it's just a presentation of the bond, right? And then we can get put another time when everybody's here or online to vote. True? So like if you missed a meeting, we can still catch just of, like, but you
Oh,
won't
yeah.
be able to ask questions though.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, I can always read later. For one.
I'm gonna leave, yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to you to figure out a schedule for this. Agree with this.
So July 21 sounds like it's out though.
Yeah, 3 of us can't make it.
Sounds like it,
Yeah.
I mean, three people.
Yeah.
So, and July 14 is just Sue,
Just-
sounds like.
I know, can't be, but
On what?
on the 14th.
You can't.
No.
Okay.
28th?
Rhode Island.
How about the 28th?
I could do that.
I can do that. I can do
Like, that would be a special meeting of the Board of Finance,
Okay,
all right?
Do you want to do that for the initial presentation?
I guess,
Okay.
yeah, but that's okay.
Then we could vote the August 4th, a week later.
We could vote just like 28th.
Or we could, yeah.
We could vote July 28th. We got all the questions answered.
Right.
can you
Okay.
take care of that? Thank you,
Yeah.
Jerry.
That's fine.
And that'll be the only agenda item for that night?
What's that?
That'll be the only agenda item for that night?
It's a special meeting, you
Yeah.
can put anything on there,
No, I
you
understand.
just can only
Yeah.
discuss those things,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steve, are you okay with July 28th?
Yeah, no, that works for me. And question for Carl, for, if that's the date, will we have, some of the preliminary information going into the POS? Will we have anything in front of us to review, at or before that meeting?
So we won't have, any preliminary POS at that point, but I will have how much money, or what our, surplus is going to be and, a lot of the, financial year-end statistics. We are going to be working on getting the information together, so whatever we have, I can certainly pull it together, but it won't look like a POS, it'll look like a bunch of working papers, so I don't know if y'all wanna look at that, but I can answer any questions if I have the information about that you might wanna know on the POS. But that is not scheduled to be done until the first working copy, I think is the end of August, beginning of September, that will be ready. And it goes through 2 or 3 different iterations for people to look at, including in leading up to the Moody's meeting, which is in September. So I think that's a little, is there something in particular you want to know?
No. It sounds like any of the financials, that would be impactful on the financing, which sounds like you just said you'll have. So no, we're in good shape.
And Mark, you will not be here August 18th.
I will not be
Okay,
here.
how about
And I
anybody
won't be able
else?
to dial in, I don't think.
Okay, so August 18th in theory is also another good date, even though you wouldn't be available. Yeah.
To vote, you mean, do we?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
needed to.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave it at that.
So can I add a few more to just sort of understand the scheduling we have so far, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, we're gonna cancel July 7th.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we'll be canceling July 21,
Yes.
and we're gonna keep July
Well,
28.
you're gonna have call a
Well,
special.
28 is a special meeting,
28 special meeting.
yes.
And so the finance director report and the treasurer report will happen on the 28th. That's all right.
On 28th?
Cause you're gonna cancel the 21st too.
Sounds like
Yes.
it, right? I mean,
Sounds like it.
there will not be enough
I don't know if
people
enough
here on the
people for a
21st, right?
Right, right,
Especially since we're gonna have another meeting the week later.
exactly, right.
And then so is it okay with you guys? Do we
Yeah,
do?
because I do want you all to see where we're at financially as part of this conversation.
For the 28th,
Yeah,
so
28, we'll have final numbers, we'll have preliminary numbers,
I see.
and then I'll finalize them in August.
so that worked out the same night as the conversation with the bank, okay? And I guess the other question is about when will the list of items for the surplus,
Yeah.
when will that come out? Cause that's a
Well,
long
we
meeting,
could have,
and a discussion for that, right?
if we know what the estimate is for the surplus, we could do a preliminary list for the 28th if you want.
Yeah, that won't be hard to do one for the July 28th.
Preliminary.
Yeah, but then we come back at some other time where you have this long list of all the things that we vote
It
for.
won't be that long, George. I know you don't like it. You already told me that last year.
It was 17 or something, right?
Yeah, but,
Well, let's take care of it.
so, yes, we'll bring that to you in July 28th. I've been making the list, so
Okay.
yes.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, so the 28th. Sounds like a pretty full agenda already.
It'll be a full agenda.
Yes. Thank you very much. And then
Our
so,
next meeting then?
Sounds like it's our next time we see
that will
each
be the
other.
next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
We could summarize
Vacation.
just like the Board of Ed.
Wow. That is true.
Okay.
We earned it.
Sure.
So I guess we need to let Eric know,
Someone will.
someone, yeah. So
Yeah,
right,
well, I'll let them know.
yeah, so would there be no meeting on the 7th or the 21st?
Right,
meeting on the
I'll do the
28th?
cancellation.
do we need to talk about the 8th, August 8th now, or should we put that off until the 28th?
I would wait.
August 8th is a Saturday.
No,
Fourth.
fourth.
Oh, it's third part.
I don't.
Gonna meet.
Just schedule a meet, it's a regular meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Schedule it.
You can
On the
always
calendar for now.
do that,
We're on the calendar.
do that.
So far away.
Thank you.
All right, so the 2 regular meetings in July are gonna get canceled. So-
Yes,
Yes.
okay, we're good. Anything else?
No,
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for doing it. Quick comment.
One quick
Oh,
question.
sorry.
It's just, if I could, this is on the Main Street project, they're doing a great job. But there's some areas where like they've skipped certain parking areas where they do everything and then they.
well, I
Don't
think
do it.
some of the parking areas
They were
were done not that long ago.
Yeah.
Like in front of I think in front of the hardware store, we did that. It was bad. So, no, that won't be done.
Oh, okay.
If you look at them, they're perfect.
Oh, I
There was
see.
no need to dig them up.
I was
Okay.
gonna ask that too, 'cause I see it, but I remembered, cause they did the new, when the hardware store did their thing, right? It was
I
just
think
after
so.
that, I think, yeah,
That was done about 5 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you.
Just comment about that crosswalk, the light. In terms of engineering, right, there's certain things where the failure rate is just incredibly low. They just feel like the button Well, crosswalk should be one of those things where the failure rate is 0.001. Because otherwise it's, and I'm just, I mean, you go cold on it, right? It's essentially, wow, that's amazing. What are the odds? Crazy.
His blood pressure going up.
I'd say,
Right, man, you can't use that fund.
wow, sorry, okay. Did we go to public comment? Anything else, Jeff?
No, I'm sorry, thank you.
Public comment, no, comments from the board members, please.
I just, couple things. One, the town hall walking in here with the hydrangeas at the, I mean, it's looking.
Gorgeous.
It looks absolutely amazing. I was at the West Hartford Town Hall a while ago. It's like nothing compared to this.
And it was funded by the Board of, I mean, we brought it to the Board of Finance and it was funded, so.
Yeah, I do want to add that I also think it's a very good idea for the bond questions to have two different
Okay.
questions. I totally agree with you. And then I had a question you may or may not know, but the bump outs for the crosswalks. I thought we were doing some traffic calming, but they're not elevated at all. Is that a different thing or was I just imagining?
No, it was discussed,
Okay,
but
but not,
that's not the way it was
Okay,
designed
all right,
at the end of the day.
okay. I think they look good. I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Nothing from me.
Anything from you, Steve? Anything else from you, Steve? I'm sorry.
I did just
Oh.
something little. I was gonna forward it to everyone earlier and I ran out of time. So just understanding and budgeting for the future. There was an article last month in the CT Insider, and it says inside the Connecticut town dominated by retirees and
Yes.
one dominated by students. You know which one we are, right? So we've got the highest percentage of 75 and older in this
Yeah.
town.
Really?
So, I just wanted to point that out and see the article. It was a good article. Yeah, and even over age 60 are, it's 25% is the average, for the state of Connecticut, or 45.
45.
So
Hey, old
just-
people.
I know on a state basis, I've been hearing more about, we did like a inventory of states, or of towns with commissions on aging. And about 62 towns in Connecticut are kind of doing this planning and having commissions on aging. So just a conversation I'm starting to have kind of around, and I know we're really well connected with social services and the estuary and stuff, but maybe something
So listen,
to think about.
I listened to a podcast this week, not to extend this meeting too much. It's a guy named Derek Thompson. I listen to him a lot. Plain English is the name, and he did a program, and they're about an hour long. It was all about the American oligarchy.
Oligarchy.
Just saying
Yeah,
how,
power
yeah,
situation, yeah.
how
I read about
in
that.
terms of housing,
Mhm.
older people just aren't leaving their house, and this is national. They're not leaving their houses. Older executives are not leaving their jobs. And our politicians have never been older. No, but that's true. And he was talking about that as and
President
the guy
Trump
on
included.
wrote a book. And he had some pretty radical solutions, but anyway,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
All right, that's it.
Now on her.
It's an issue.
Thanks, Megan, for sharing that.
That's very good. No, it's a very good point. We should definitely think about that when we go through budget season again.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
We get seeing the right population.
yeah, I feel like, stuff we're doing with Acton Library, the Kate, I had asked those questions about the Kate, about programming. We had upped last year what we were giving to the estuary and just, all things to think about and,
But also comes back to the thinking about the, what do you call it, I think, circuit breaker, the breaks we give to, families, right?
Oh,
If there is that's a growing population. Okay, comments from me, I just had all these comments about the meeting schedule, but we discussed that ad nauseam, so I think we'll put on that, and so. Again, thank you all, for hosting Ian for your time, that was very nice.
Yeah, that was great.
yes,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks for including us too.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy you attend.
Have a wonderful time. I didn't even want to party.
Carl, the speech, the first speech,
It was great.
that was,
So the one
That was
that didn't
great.
use ChatGPT, you didn't like?
No, I love,
No,
no, I came up to you afterwards and told you I thought yours was better, but really, that was funny.
It was clever.
That's clever.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that was, did you think of that or did AI tell you to think of that?
You can't tell us.
I bothered him with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
In the Coast Guard.
Yeah, Carl, I didn't realize you were that funny guy. It was very well done. I like it.
Sorry, called adjourned?
Adjourn.
Thank you.
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
Thank you.